Hey everybody, welcome back to Night Call Part 5. This is Willow, and I kind of have a little bit of a new setup. I've been playing with overlays lately. Still trying to kind of figure it out, but it's a lot of fun. Also, I'm recording this kind of late at night, so I'm talking a little low this time. Sorry, my cat is in the room with me, but let's go ahead and jump right in. I hope everybody's doing well, staying safe and sane. Back in the taxi. We are back at the map and we are ready to drive. Let's see, we need to read the paper. I wanted to read the paper last episode, but I did not. I think we should read the paper. Let's do it. You pull a newspaper out of your glove compartment and start leafing through it. Eventually, something grabs your eye. A tiny article in the corner of one page. Ongoing protests in the small South American country of French Guiana have been paralyzing the territory for 2 months. You raise your head. Until now, you'd heard nothing about these protests. You turn the page and stop. You read about a third of the newspaper. Just keep reading. You stop reading and go back a few pages. You thought you saw something. It's a photo of an important French athlete, a well-known tennis player. He's just been arrested in Switzerland for embezzling millions of euros in image reproduction rights. Weird. Also, I used to play tennis. You sigh. Actually, I still kind of do. I played competitively in my teenage years. Third left to read. Just read the whole thing. As soon as you get to the page, you stop. Your instinct tells you to look at. It's an enthusiastic review of a new video game about the Uberization of society. You scan the text, a bit lost. A video game about a taxi driver. Sounds cool. You shut the paper. It'll end up in the trash tonight. If you remember, it's there. Otherwise, it will spend the rest of its days in your glove compartment. Okay. Paper. So that's good. Let's... What the fuck? Okay. Yes. Dennis was the weird. Okay, Dennis was the guy who we thought was racist at first. Yeah. Okay. Take a few minutes to update your board with your new clues. Bus goes by, making the walls shake. You sigh and get to work. Well. Do we have anything? Do we get any new... Sorry, I keep having to check on my cat because she's being super noisy and it's kind of late. I don't live alone. There's literally nothing here. So go ahead and just move on. end of the night, we have not been getting, like, any information, and Buset's gonna have our ass. So, with a heavy hand, you wipe your tired face. You lie down on the open sofa bed. The events of the day run through your head. The streets, the passengers, their faces, their problems. Your brain is running at full speed. Your body aches, and you are in pain. Tell you need to get more sleep. You glance at your investigation board. You wish you were far away from here. Far, far away from here. Ugh, same. I wish this year was over. I mean, as if that's gonna actually change anything, but maybe it'll just, I don't know. You shake your head and your mind wanders for a second. A second later, you're asleep. Nice. Calming, relaxing. Very lovely. You open one eye. You slept badly. Sometimes you're so tired you can't seem to get any rest. You'd like to understand how that's even possible. You get up quickly. It's later, you're outside of your studio. Okay, I need to double check something really quick. Okay, we're back. What do we pick up this evening? Let's try her. She was actually same spot. Yeah, the night. Yes, night 5. Whichever night that was. Driving. Move, you're driving. Strange. Stop with these fucking burnt smell suddenly fills the cab. You look around, sniff. Is it coming from outside? Oh my god, this is freaking me out. What the fuck? I don't think we should keep driving. Park. As soon as you see a free spot, you pull over and park. You freeze. Something or someone is in your taxi. Oh my god, I'm gonna freaking fuck. Okay. I have a hard time with scary things or like okay. A woman's voice resonates around the cab. I can't. I need a better signal. I'm here. I'm here. What the fuck? You turn around slowly. A young woman has appeared behind you. Don't shout. I'm afraid I'll lose the connection. I don't have much time. What in the fuck is happening? There's something strange about her face. It's as if she is several different people at once. Listen to me carefully. I come from the future, and you must know that you met. Stops moving like a computer glitch. She stays this way, still frozen. Then she suddenly starts moving again. Fascists in suits with tons of money and control of social media. In 2037, he decides to cleanse Europe, literally and figuratively. She stops herself. Shit, I'm breaking up. She lowers her head to speak to someone else. The signal is unstable. She turns to you. Her eyes are sparkling. A coalition led by the Iranian president and a few African leaders managed to find a remedy, but it's too late. Can she tell me who the judge is? Please. The human race has been almost entirely decimated. She looks at you. They sent me to look for more information on Hyoga, but also on other people you may have met. Does Sean Jackson sound familiar? You shake your head slowly. No idea. He went to mime school. What the what? She smiles coyly. I know what you're thinking, but I'm serious. She shakes her head. Tragically serious. It is pretty tragic. I don't know who you're talking about. Yeah, well, shit. I'm too late in the game. They sent me to the wrong moment. She snaps her fingers. Annabelle Robert, a photojournalist. Her reporting will... Her voice suddenly starts to crackle. Reveal the existence of underground laboratories. She absolutely must go to Syria. Life depends on it. What? The radio starts blaring incomprehensible voices like it was picking up a secret station. No physical contact. You will not get a second chance. The seat behind you is suddenly empty. The young woman is gone. The radio stops. What the absolute fuck? Nighttime silence takes its place. Okay, for a second you wonder if you were dreaming. Honestly, you slowly breathe in and start driving again. Okie dokie then. Well, that was quite interesting. It's that vigilante guy again, that's so funny. There's a couple? She's there again? Her? She's pretty young. Or them. Kiara Yamane. I need help with the delivery. The passenger who sinks into the back seat is one of the hordes of cyclists you almost always hit at red lights. She's a bike courier, the kind who pays no attention to red lights, stop signs, or right-of-ways. Honey, you gotta care about your life. She gives you a smile. Holy shit, it's flipping freezing out. You smile. Do we know each other from somewhere? I don't think so. I probably just cut you off on my bike or something. Or maybe it was me. Maybe I changed lanes without signaling. You both burst out laughing. She gives you an address. It's for a delivery, but it's too cold. I can't seem to get warm. You start the cab and turn the heat to high. Warm air fills the car. The young woman nods. Thanks. That's exactly what I'm here for. Oh, damn it. She closes her eyes as if to enjoy the muffled hum of the heater. I hope you don't mind. There was no way I was going to get back on my bike. I left it behind with my colleagues in front of that restaurant. She sighs. I know it's pretty counterproductive, paying for a cab ride to deliver food, but all the warm air, it feels good. How's work going? Young woman is struggling to stay awake. Pretty good, though I had a run-in with one of my colleagues tonight. She falters. He's a real know-it-all, the kind of guy who thinks he's been there, done that. The work itself is pretty good, though. In the winter, we do a lot of business. People stay holed up at home like rabbits. I have to say, I understand them. She yawns. I'm warming up, but I sure am tired all of a sudden. She closes her eyes. Sorry, we're already here. You pull up to the address. This poor thing. Right, back to work. The delivery girl quickly exits the cab, slamming the door behind her. She rings the door of an elegant Parisian building. A moment later, the door cracks open. The courier hands her client a plastic bag with takeout containers inside. She smiles. The door shuts. She rushes over to the cab and flings herself into the back seat. Come on, let's get out of here fast. You start the cab. Why? Back to the restaurant, please. I left my bike there. Oh, that's that. Her phone chirps. Business is picking up. She sighs. But yeah, I think I'm going to wait a little. Check it later. She settles comfortably into the back seat and closes her eyes. What is that? Sorry. Oh, shit. Sorry. Evil smile? Have you been doing this for a long time? It's been, this is my second winter, so yeah, a year and a half or so. Time really flies. Girl, oh, I feel you. I have to say it gets pretty boring after a while. She flashes you a toothy grin. At first you're like, yeah, what's the best shortcut? How can I get to that restaurant as fast as possible? But after a while, always the same old routine. There is a pause. She gives a short laugh. Nah, I shouldn't complain, really. At least I can take it easy on my bike. There's no one to really mess around with me. She lets out a silvery laugh. It's very soothing in tone, the laugh of someone you can trust. What did you do before? Marketing. A startup company, one of those super pretentious places where everyone speaks 3 languages and only eats whole grain. My boss was a total asshole who was always grabbing my ass. A look of revulsion flickers across her face. So now I'm done with all that. She looks serious, as if she had just concluded a long speech. So that, my friend, is why I wouldn't trade in my bike for all the world. Any prospects for the future? No, you're right. Not much as far as prospects go. Not like I'm going to be made team manager or anything, that's for sure. But it's not all that bad. There are worse jobs around. Wow, this is getting really real for me, too. I worked at a social media marketing company at the start of COVID, and I worked there for like 5 months, and they let me go. Actually, they downsized. They let 500 employees go. And I had to move back in with some people because I couldn't afford my rent anymore. And I currently still am looking for work, but I also thought I would do this on the side. I've always wanted to, start a YouTube channel or stream. It's just always been something I have like a kind of a really high interest, or I wouldn't say passion, but kind of like a love for it. And I know what you're going to say. I'm being exploited, badly paid, all that. But the worst part is actually the customers. You look at her in surprise. No, I swear it's true. You deliver their dinner because they're worn out after working all day. And they don't even tip you a single euro. Still, they are understanding and all that. They give me articles about all the big bad delivery businesses abusing us. And then they order sushi from the restaurant down the street. Never trust a stomach. She makes a little farting sound with her mouth. Believe me, a bunch of cheapskates. She stops you with a gesture before you can speak. But all that, it's just for the time being, promise. I'm putting a little aside, like my father always said. I'm going to open a takoyaki food truck. Have you ever had takoyaki? You pull up to the restaurant. A swarm of bike couriers are waiting for their orders. No. It's a specialty from Osaka. Octopus fritters. But not just any fritters. My grandmother's recipe. It's basically a pretty simple idea. Sell them to people lined up for concerts, movies, plays. She smiles. Anyhow, I'm out of here. There are a lot of starving people in Paris, and we don't want to let them down. She hands you the fare and exits the cab. I liked her. Thanks again, really. You're good company. If you ever need a shortcut, just ask. She gives you a last smile, then walks over to her crew. Sweetheart. Alright. Ugh, oh yes, that man. That man is trash. Dude, this guy looks like he kind of looks like Tom Selleck. Two women are leaning against a balcony. Oh. Well, I need a cab, quick. Milo, Reacher. Okay. You pull up in front of the American Embassy. You can't recall ever picking up a customer here. They probably have a fleet of their own. Or a contract with a private company. The door opens. You take an immediate liking to the guy who gets in. You find him somehow reassuring, like a lost tourist. He babbles something in English. You have to listen hard to make out the address. Sorry, I'm just back in Paris. I've forgotten my manners. He flashes you a sparkling smile. His voice is tinged with a slight American accent. You turn the key in the ignition. Thanks. What's your name, pal? You're surprised to hear him use the familiar tu form straight off the bat. Hussein. Nice to meet you, Hussein. He stares at you intently for a moment. This guy seems sketchy, though. Okay. Sorry, I had to fix... My computer was going haywire, basically. Alright. I went through a little bit of dialogue by accident. Basically, he threatened me and said, if I tell you my name, I'm gonna have to kill you. And then, he was joking, but I don't actually think he's joking, so that's where we're at with Milo. Hey, amigo. I'm joking. I work for the CIA. That's all. Sus. You're an undercover agent? Yeah, you could say that. Is that why your French is so good? I speak 8 other languages, too. You give a low whistle. Not bad for a Yankee, eh? He bursts into laughter. No wonder I'm a spy, eh, amigo? A wave of sadness comes over your passenger. You can read it in his gestures, in the look on his face. You cast a glance to the rearview mirror, trying to catch his eye. No luck. Is everything okay? Same as always. I'm only just starting to realize. He sits bolt upright, as if someone had struck him on the back of the neck. I don't have any children, amigo. But I've had some under my supervision kids. What? One of them is. He stops short. He doesn't have to finish. You know where that sentence ends. You slump heavily against your seat and focus on the road, on automatic pilot, your mind a blank. What would you do if your children disappeared? Something awful. You can't even imagine it. The wrenching sorrow of a parent who loses a child. The first time I saw him, his voice has gone up a notch. You almost jump. He was beating up a black market supplier. The guy had sold him shoe polish that smelled like shit, and his business depended on shoe polish. He was always stationed around Krakow Cloth Hall. The Poles call it Sukien. I'm sorry. Calling out to passers by at the top of his lungs. His voice trails off. Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to hit the microphone. Bogdan. He wasn't the first kid I ever supervised. It's just, there was something different about him. He caught on fast, amigo. You know what I mean? He could think on his feet. He knew when to get tough and when to play dead. Bowden was like a little polish monkey. Bowden? Bowden. Smart, cunning, fearless, brave. A real comic book hero. He breaks off again. You really cared for him? A great deal. I think he reminded me of myself. Like I said, amigo, I sensed it immediately the first time I set eyes on him. He was beating up this supplier, and I went over and handed him a Mars bar. That's what we always gave them back then. He had about 5 minutes for a serious talk before the sugar kicked in. That was back in '88. Poland was no longer part of the USSR. The Soviets had lost. What an amazing country, amigo. Have you ever been there? Never. That's too bad. You arrive at your destination, a nondescript building, all glass and metal. Every person is unique. Your passenger reaches into his pocket, fishing for the fare. Some are as cool as concrete, others fragile, like cut glass. He pulls out a bill and hands it to you. The poles are made of steel. His voice falters, his eyes glaze over. Oh. I'm very sorry. You know, amigo, I'm not just sad, I'm disappointed too. Disappointed? He feels for something in his vest. The idea of his having a gun gives you quite a start. The kid entered my life like a jungle. You see what I mean? He's struggling to find the right metaphor. Life, it's like a radio. There are the songs, the interviews, the ads, and the jingles. Oh, jingle, not jungle. Oops, sorry. The jingles are short, but they stick in your head. You can't get rid of them. You nod assent without thinking. Your client grins. The police got him. I trained the kid, then he went and got himself whacked. Through his own fault, too. I thought he was smarter. It's been 30 years, but Bogdan, or whatever, that kid could have made something of himself. And he let himself get caught pickpocketing a couple of American tourists. I don't know, this story seems like inconsistent. He's like struggling to remember the name, but yet he like really cared for this kid. I don't know. Then made a run for it and got shot in the back. Dumbass. He opens the cab door. The cold air rushes in. I taught that kid everything I knew. Everything. Well, so much for him. He exits the cab. The door slams with a resounding echo. You sit stock, still, taking in his parting words. And then you start up the cab. No better way to get your mind off things. shit, we need gas. Let's get some gas. You pull over and stop at a gas station. Not a soul in sight. The fluorescent lights irritate your eyes and the smell of pee is wafting up from the space in between the pumps. It's self-service here. You pay directly at the pump. The mini mart over there, it must sell newspapers. The person behind the counter must see and hear things. Might be worth asking a couple questions. This is the same gas station I pulled up before and asked questions and it didn't go too well. I could try again, I guess. You don't quite know why, but Parisian gas stations are always frightening. You check out your surroundings before getting out of the taxi. We need gas. Fuck, that's a lot of money. Damn. I think we're good with that. You get in your taxi and drive away. No, I was gonna go talk to... Fuck. I messed up, man. I messed up. The yellow border seems very importante, so let's go. I think it's Herb. I think it's Herb. Our good old friend. Yeah. He usually has good information though, so I don't mind it. The door opens. It's Herb. He greets you with his bizarre verbal tick, as usual. Getting damn cold out now. Hi, Herb. You start the engine. Herb seems pretty happy with himself today. In the rearview mirror, you watch him run his tongue over his lips, as if mentally preparing for a good meal. He catches your eye and smiles. Sorry, I'm a bit out of it today. So I see. It's just I had a bad week. You know, a really bad week. Then yesterday, he hesitates as if he can't believe what he's about to say, like it's too good to be true. The lines around the corners of his eyes that show his real age crinkle slightly. Herb gives a little laugh. Serious man, I don't believe in God, you know. I don't believe in all that bullshit. It doesn't make any sense. Guy with a beard up in the sky, I never got it, what people saw in him. Yes, must have a beard. Anyhow, God, none of us believe in him on the street. His eyes crinkle up at the corners again. I mean, we believe when the soup kitchen goes to church. Yeah, sure, we believe in him then. He flashes his teeth and lets out a harsh, raspy laugh. A pause. So yesterday? Yesterday. He's observing you. His eyes light up all of a sudden. Oh yeah, yesterday. He's talking faster now, in incessant flow. I was starving, man. It was pretty bad. Toby and I had gone through all the garbage bins in the neighborhood. Toby, he's the German guy. He says he prefers France, that we're more generous here. So I was starving. Herb's eyes tear up. His voice drops off. A faraway look comes over him. A lengthy pause. Are you okay? He snaps out of it. Yeah, like I was saying that I was starving. I was hanging out near the supermarket on Rue Remusat. Fancy neighborhood, but not too fancy. No cops. He gives you a wink. That's always a plus. And then there was like this guy I sometimes see around, a young guy, like just a kid. He comes out of the supermarket with his groceries, and before I even say a word, he hands me a can of cassoulet. A can of cassoulet as big as the beach ball. Irf's face lights up. I didn't even know they made them that big. He bursts out laughing. The animation's funny. He bursts out laughing, and his eyes wanders back to the street. Was it good? Delicious. He closes his eyes, raises his hands, and waggles his fingers. I love it when the cassoulet sausage is all mushy and it melts in your mouth. Don't even need to warm it up. A smile spreads over his face. Meat mash. Ugh. No thanks. He opens his eyes. Something out of the window catches his eye. Irv suddenly pats you on the shoulder. Sorry. My lips get really chapped. Hold on. Wait. I'm going to get out of here if you don't mind. You park the cab as soon as you see an empty space. Thanks, man. He's looking out the window. Yeah, I think that's him. Ooh. Nothing. Without another word, he opens the door and gets out. The fuck? This time I'm gonna get him. What? Irv, what are you doing? A moment later, he vanishes into a dark alley. Sit there a minute. Your eye scans the dark, narrow street, but you can't make anything out. Then something moves in the distance. A silhouette, probably Herv, now at a run. The form darts under a street lamp. It is Herv, holding something in his hand. He immediately vanishes from sight. You sit there a minute, and then you switch on the ignition and pull out of the parking space. What? Herv, what are you doing? Oh my god, if Herv is the judge, I swear. I mean, I actually wouldn't be that surprised, but I swear. Oh shit. Oh, this is the guy that I thought was the judge. This is one of our suspects. I gotta talk to him. I didn't talk to him yet. A gorgeous luxury car flies by you. It sets off the radar just ahead. Paul Marie Fragonard. Okay. Your next passenger is your suspect, the retired policeman. Judging by his looks, you could have easily guessed. Hôpital Saint Louis, please. You nod your head and start the engine. You glance at your passenger. Same expression, same clothes, some things never change. He looks grumpy, in a bad mood. He is holding a cigarette between his fingers and has almost broken it several times. Tough morning? He shrugs. No more than usual. His tone makes it clear there was no room for discussion. You let it drop. A bit further, construction workers are bustling about, tearing down a storefront. Oh say, are they finally taking that down? What was it before? Ah, when I first came to Paris, it was a thrift store. You could buy pants there for just a few francs. But for years, it's been a sex shop. One of the first in Paris, actually. I think they filmed some famous movie there. He sighs. That was all before the internet. Now, online. Yeah, they're probably going to put in a cell phone shop, or one that sells electronic cigarettes. Go figure. He pauses. Your passenger turns around. He watches the building grow smaller as the taxi drives away. I'm surprised it stayed open for so long. I mean, since that hostage situation, it must have attracted some shady fellas. The kind who like to jerk off where 2 cops got taken out. Ugh. One of your cases? Yes. Though at the time I was only a measly lieutenant, just a snot-nosed kid. We got calls from the neighbors of the sex shop. They couldn't stand the noise anymore. Day and night, people going in and out. Excuse me. Most of the time they were quiet, but there were always noisy ones. And the booths weren't soundproof. After a few months, the woman upstairs knew all the films. Ugh. There were some high society types there. The shop had a few films for gay people, for single women, the cream of the crop. His attention is caught by something outside for a second. Okay, so anyway, one evening, one of the neighbors takes his daddy's rifle from its wall mount and goes outside. He fires a warning shot that breaks part of the front window, then goes in. The guy had bloodshot eyes and was foaming at the mouth. He demanded the owner close the shop immediately. Said he wanted to sleep, to cleanse the earth of these perverts. The fellow was basically having a psychotic episode in front of about 15 clients. We got there about 10 p.m. Evacuated the street, got the response team ready. And back then it wasn't like it is today, you know, with helmets and tiny cameras and those little flying whatchamacallits. Drones? Your passenger snaps his fingers. Yeah, that's it. Drones. Yeah, so back then they didn't have any of that stuff. The plan was just to go in and take pot shots at everyone. My chief, great guy, taught me everything I know. Well, almost. He took the megaphone and started talking to the hostage taker. He told him he needed to let the civilians go or someone would get hurt, and no one wanted anyone to get hurt. The hostage taker said, okay, let me see, I'll free the women first. He went back in. We got ready, put on our bulletproof vests, checked our weapons. It looked like we were getting ready for an old-style duel. What nobody knew was that there were 2 fellow cops inside already, in the crowd. They were not interested in being released. Since the hostage situation started, they'd been trying to find a way to escape out the back. He snickers. They were ashamed to be there. They said to themselves that they could approach the hostage taker and tell him they'd infiltrated the building before the police officially got there. But the guy with the rifle was not a newbie. He was a Boy Scout and his father had taught him how to fight. A dry laugh. His father fought the Nazis. He wanted to fight the hippies. Classic. He could see the 2 cops were a bit worked up, were speaking in hushed voices. So he pulls one of them aside and decides to let him go. The policeman flounders. He asks the hostage taker to take one of the 4 women in the shop instead of him. But he won't have it. So there we were outside when all of a sudden out came Michelle, the deputy chief of police. His shirt was untucked and he had this stupid look on his face. And then the guy behind me started to laugh. The hostage taker fired. First time in my life I saw a skull from the inside. Brains and blood strewn all over the sidewalk. I tossed my cookies. I mean, hey, I had only been on the force for 2 years, you understand. He sniffles. I wouldn't have wanted to change places with that guy behind me who was laughing. We never knew who it was. There were a lot of rumors. Even one saying it was me. He is silent for a moment. But it wasn't. I didn't know. Michelle, for starters. Not well anyway. He shrugs and falls silent again. We let a few seconds go by. What about the other cop? The other cop? The one who was still in the sex shop. He attacked the hostage taker in the shop. Another rifle shot, and, well, our brother spent 6 weeks in intensive care before he croaked. As for the hostage taker, I think he must be out of jail by now. A real psycho, high on all sorts of pills, not a pretty sight. They redid the sex shop after, and since then anyone from the squad who came in always got a little discount. You pull a car up in front of the hospital and your passenger pays. It's the least they could do when you think about it. I've never been myself. Actually, I avoided even going down that street, so I wouldn't have to think about that day again. It was almost like a bouquet of poppies, big red and black flowers. He pauses. It's odd that I think of poppies, considering what they mean. You know, each flower is a symbol, has meaning, and I believe the poppy symbolizes peacefulness. I'd have to check. My ex-wife left me a book about it. Don't know why I held on to it. His eyes wander. Yep. He sits up. Alright, I'm off. He gets out of the car and walks towards the hospital. His figure blurs into the darkness. For a second, you think he might have stopped. He disappears into the hospital. You drive off. What? That's a measly ass tip. Also, why is he going to the hospital? Who is he visiting? You know? I don't know. I'm still sus about this guy. Alright. I'm gonna call it here. This has been fun. And so far, we still have not gotten any more information. Except there was that futuristic not fortune teller, future visitor that came in our cab. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.